I wanted to make an intro, but I still don't have any ideas. This is The Elf on the Shelf, an elf story, and I'm sorry that we couldn't rip a version without rating signs and logos this time. This special takes us to a very plastic-looking North Pole, where letters can be delivered out in the open on these little carts without the mailman having to worry about them getting blown away. They can also do this. We see a tiny little elf pick up a letter that's fallen off the cart. He brings it to Santa Claus, whose beard looks solid. This letter was sent by one Taylor McTuttle, who's been designated a special case because he's not sure he believes in the power of Christmas anymore. The elf, and all the other elves, are absolutely shocked by this, and Santa's explanation for it is that sometimes it just happens. Yep. I can see why they'd be concerned about this, since in this world the adults seem to believe in Santa just as much as the kids do, as you'll later see. By the way, Santa is very calm about this, which implies to me that this kind of thing has happened before. But if it has, then has this elf heard about any instances of it? Santa does refer to him as such a young scout elf.
It is a big task for such a young scout elf.
I'm gonna move on before I start spiraling into questions about how long this elf has lived and how elves come into being. This elf has decided to take up the job of being a scout elf, and he's tasked with watching Taylor and his family in the hopes that Taylor will believe in Christmas magic again or something. He runs off to tell his elf buddies all about it, as they all prepare to be shipped out to their assigned destinations. By the way, none of these elves have names yet. The deal with an elf on the shelf is that you give the elf a name when they come to your house.
The first time I come to the place you call home, you quickly must give me a name of my own.
And once you give them a name, they get their magic that allows them to fly, because of course they do. But if that's the case, then what did Santa call these elves, and what did they call each other before they became scout elves? How exactly do they become scout elves? Is there some kind of scout elf academy? At what point do they receive their assignments? Sorry, I can't help myself.
How can he not believe?
That was a silly line delivery. Anyways, the elves are delivered with a whimsical mail myself in a box challenge complete with a random band. This elf mailed himself to the McTuttle's house, and it worked. Somehow. Because I don't know if this flying machine flew the box all the way there, or if it dropped it into a mail truck or what. Taylor's little twin sisters, who are named Kendall and Carolyn, even though their names are never said, are very excited that their very own elf has finally arrived. So, did their parents order the elf? From where? Do Santa and the North Pole have a contract with delivery companies? Also, the book this special is based on was shipped with the box, so am I to assume that Santa has some kind of partnership with the author and illustrator too? You can see their names on the cover. How did the elves appear on the market? And how does Taylor not believe that Santa and the elves are for real? Just because the elf doesn't fly in front of him? Anyways, they suddenly burst into a song in which they brainstorm a name for their elf. Yeah, this special has a couple of songs sprinkled throughout it. Taylor at first wants no part in this, throwing out the names
Loser
and
Big Stinky Footy,
while his family comes up with a long list of nicer and cuter names.
Shredder's a good one, Ripjaw's cool, how about Sweetie?
Taylor eventually decides on Chippy, just before his family does. Also, I swear that Taylor's dad looks like my dad. That night, once they've all gone to bed, Chippy finds that he's gotten his magic.
I'm going to fly for you. Whoa!
And he's off to return to the North Pole to report back to Santa. He's going to tell him about his plan to get Taylor back in the Christmas spirit and help him to remember that warm, fuzzy feeling. Chippy's friends are now called Snowflake, Zart, and Wordsworth, Longfellow, Byron, Keats, Whitman, Frost III. Seems like this guy found himself in a house full of poetry nuts, and he's already embracing the lifestyle of a poet. Then we get the catchiest song in this entire special as they all sing about how they're moving up in the world, as the other elves do the exact same dances with the exact same lifeless looks on their faces.
We'll shake those bells and jingle.
Children's TV special! Also, did you notice how tiny these presents are? Are they for the elves or will they be delivered to the kids? If it's the latter, then they've got to be as small as the elves are, so they're probably small jewelry boxes or Funko Pop minis or something. The next morning, the girls look for Chippy around the living room and find him sitting, of course, on the shelf. Taylor, whose hair looks just as plastic and solid as Santa's beard, once again wants Chippy to prove to him that he can fly. Chippy sighs and says that this mission will be harder than he thought. Apparently, Taylor's forgotten what it's like to visit Santa, even though he looked at the photo of himself like, hey, where'd this come from? Chippy wishes that he could just show Taylor some bona fide proof, but by Santa's decree, elves can't move or speak when they're sitting around and observing their assigned people. Why? According to Snowflake, it's because...
It's not real belief if they don't feel it in their hearts. You can't see Christmas magic. You have to feel it.
Okay, so I guess you can't feel Christmas magic if you directly see it in front of you, or if an elf is speaking and moving before you, I guess. Sure. Also, Zart here was played by Shamik Moore, aka Miles Morales. The girls continue to enjoy hanging out with Chippy, and Taylor is still a skeptic.
Unless you have two little sisters.
Do not go there, kid.
Chippy, do you have anything that you'd like to say about Christmas?
A few things, actually. Firstly, Christmas decorations are so boring and minimal nowadays. And secondly, stop asking Santa for expensive stuff. Us Scout Elves are the only ones that even matter these days. The ones that used to build stuff don't even matter because all you want now are makeup and PS5s and stuff.
The girls tell Taylor that if someone touches an elf, it's going to lose its magic, because that's how that works. Then they all take some family photos as we skip to another night. Kendall asks Chippy if Santa can bring her a dollhouse. If she were a little girl in our world today, she'd probably be asking for skincare supplies. Damn you neglectful parents and influencer culture. Then Taylor is still all like, I'll believe it when I see it, harumph! And he slowly inches his finger towards Chippy, expecting him to fly away because he touches him. His sisters are like, no, stop, he'll lose his magic! But don't do anything to stop him. Taylor does touch Chippy, knocking him over, and he lands on the floor as overdramatic music plays.
Mom! Dad! Taylor hit Chippy!
Oh wait, I didn't mean to!
Yeah, you did. Chippy isn't feeling so good now that he's been poked by a human finger. He can barely fly out of the chimney before passing out in the snow. His friends have to carry him back to the North Pole, where he's hospitalized for the night. Damn, that's what humans can do to them? Is the magic their lifeblood now? How are the elves perfectly up and kicking before they got their magic? By the way, have you noticed that Santa can touch elves but regular humans can't? What is Santa if not a human? Is he some kind of elf too? So then, as Chippy's friends are trying to encourage him, Wordsworth gives an incredibly motivational speech in verse about finding the magic within or whatever. It looks like Taylor immediately regrets what he did. Carolyn and Kendall really miss Chippy to the point where they're wondering if Christmas won't come. Of course it will! You still have your faith in family, don't you? They sing a slow song about carrying Christmas in their hearts as Taylor watches them. This seems to restore his faith in the holiday, so he writes Santa an apology letter, which is delivered to him the next morning by... Chippy's at his third act low point, lamenting about how he couldn't make Taylor believe in the magic of Christmas and all that cheesy stuff. Santa gives him a pep talk about how he can only be there for others and whether or not they have any belief is up to them. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? Then he says that Christmas magic is something people hold in their hearts, which is exactly what the other elves told him earlier. Dear Santa, I'm sorry. I believe in you. To regain my belief in you, I had to commit what was probably a crime against Chippy's life. Now, Taylor apologized for taking Chippy's magic from him, and earlier, after Chippy left, Taylor tried looking for him but couldn't find him anywhere. But what I think would have hit harder is if Chippy was gone for several days. That way, Taylor could have had more time to understand what he did to Chippy and really let it sink in. Taylor could not have meant what he said with that letter, and Chippy would have believed it, but he most likely wouldn't have gotten his magic back. I guess that happened now that Taylor has belief in Christmas magic again. So Chippy flies back to the McTuttle's house, landing on the mantle.
Chippy, I'm so sorry. It didn't even feel like Christmas without you.
What about carrying Christmas in your heart, like your sisters and Santa said earlier? Everybody is so thrilled to see him that they sing a faster, much more sweeping version of the girls' song from earlier.
It's a time of love, joy, and peace. It's a time of faith to believe. More than presents under a tree, topped with a star.
And for a huge percentage of this God-fearing planet, it's about the birth of Jesus Christ.
For the rest of us, it's still a good time to remember that it's good to be nice.
They're all finally happy together and full of Christmas cheer. Yay! Christmas Eve has finally come, and the girls lay out some milk and cookies while Taylor hangs up a custom-made stocking for Chippy. After it's lights out, Santa poofs in, lays down the presents, and poofs out again, which is honestly a pretty clever way for him to save time. And everybody lived following Santa's sleigh through the night, as he wishes the viewers a Christmas of peace and a year full of joy. Yeah, my brothers and I didn't enjoy this one as much as we did when we were little kids, but that's that.